All right, guys, time to reseed. It's mid-August here in Michigan, and this is the time to start throwing some stuff down. I have some starter fertilizer. I made a run to the Menards and some peat moss. I also picked up some Kentucky bluegrass grass seed. This is made by Schultz. I also picked up from Costco it's like a mix. It's got perennial rye, tall fescue, and some Kentucky bluegrass. But I want more Kentucky bluegrass than the others, so I'm going to put this down first, and then maybe put a layer of the regular grass seed over top of it. But here's what I'm dealing with. You guys know from my earlier videos, my lawn's come a long way since spring. It's filled in quite a bit, but I have a lot of problem grass that kind of creeped in. When I say creeped, I really mean creeped in. I already dug all this out, and it's that really low profile turf type of stuff. And look at how easy I can just pull this. There's no root structure at all. I can just take my tips of my fingers and pull sections out. Look at this section here, and it just comes right out, and that's not good. I don't know what this grass is called. I don't know if it's like golf course type of grass, but it's got no root structure. So I'm pulling all this out, raking it up, but I have quite a bit. Look at this one. I'm just barely, I don't even say tug. I'm just pulling gobs out. That's what happened to this. I start pulling and it just came off like a rug that's sitting on the floor. So I'm pulling it all out. Probably more of this. Here, I'll show you guys. This is actually starting to catch, so I'm gonna go ahead and leave that. But yeah, this just kind of like this piece, this whole thing was like that. It just kind of I didn't even have to tug on it. It just pulled right up. So pulling all these bad spots, cleaning things up. I bought this garden weasel. There's going to be many more spots than this. People said this is a really good tool for a grass seed, and it's a garden weasel rotary cultivator. It works really good. I'm just using it to kind of loosen up the dirt here, and it's kind of normal force, and it's doing a good job. It's probably, I don't know, loosens up about an inch and a half. So that's about perfect for grass seed. I'm hitting all these all of these spots that are bare, and back here I have some spots. Not a huge deal, but I'm just gonna touch up where it doesn't get much sun at all over here. So I'm gonna touch this up. Got some moss growing. I'll get rid of that. Throw some of my mix on, because the Kentucky bluegrass probably won't catch, so I'll have to make sure I put a little bit of extra of that sun and shade mix, because just trying to keep it up. There's some spots over here too. I'll rake in and use that yard weasel. But yeah, guys, I thought about just nuking it and just starting over. This year I'm gonna give it one more year. If it doesn't really come around, and it did really decent this year, it wasn't like a complete flip from a shitty lawn to an awesome lawn. I'm gonna give it one more year, and if it doesn't turn around by next fall, I think I'll go ahead and nuke it, put an irrigation system in. And it's one of the reasons I haven't pulled the trigger on an irrigation system, because I may just start over. I don't have a huge grass front lawn. I think it's about 1,600 square feet, something like that. So it's not a huge project. I'll probably do everything myself, including tapping into the main water line. So that's what I got today, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and do some more work, and I'll show you what I come up with after I get done with this, pulling up the bad grass and start throwing on this grass seed and fertilizer. So here's what I ended up with. I ended up scalping down. We had a lot of bad grass in here. And this is the curbside, or whatever they call it. And As you can see, I did a pretty big number. I also did a pass with, it's kind of hard to see, the grass seed, the Kentucky bluegrass. Did the whole lawn. And so like I said, a lot here. And then there's a patch here and a pretty big patch here. And this just pulled out with my fingers. There's a couple smaller little spots, but I went through and used my little garden weasel, loosened up the soil a little bit, put down the Kentucky bluegrass. It doesn't look too bad from the curb or the windows because I still have somewhat of a lawn left, as you can see. It doesn't look great, but in about, I don't know, a week or two, this will fill in a little bit where it won't look so bad from the street. There will be some bare spots, but hopefully that'll fill in. So right now, here's a Kentucky bluegrass. Look how small it is. And I bought a 3-pound bag, which says it does 2,000 square foot. My front lawn is about 1,600 square foot. So it worked out just about right per the spreader settings. I'm using a little Spady green, and it was 4. And now I'm gonna throw down the Scott's Turf Builder grass seed. This is a sunshade mix. I'm gonna use this to the same recommendation. And then I'm gonna go ahead, actually what I'll do is I'm gonna rake, I'll do that. I'll mix this in or spread it per the recommendation once I find it on here, and go ahead and use that garden weasel kind of to work it in. And I'm gonna throw down the starter fertilizer. All right, guys, just threw some starter fertilizer on top. Now I'm taking this peat moss and just kind of sprinkling it down very lightly. That's a peat moss, no peat moss. So I'm gonna throw this down up against the remaining daylight. So it got dark last night, so I couldn't film it. This is what I came up with. This is the street side. I scalped this pretty far down, raked a lot of peat moss in, and then here's the main part. I got the sprinkler going. Now, I only applied the peat moss on the sections that need it the most. I only had 2 bags. I wish I had another 1 or 2 bags. Watered in now. We're supposed to get some rain this afternoon. It's actually calling for rain all day today and tomorrow, but you know the weather, it changes. Now it's only calling for some thunder showers, possible afternoon times. Now, the other thing to mention is I did apply tenacity, but I did it about 3 or 4 days ago. I had no plans of taking this lawn down this far. The original plan was just to, cut it a little shorter, rake in some grass seed and throw some water on it. If I would have known what I know now, I would have waited and applied the tenacity once I was done with the scalping and the raking, but before applying the grass seed. So I don't know, I might get some weeds pop up here or there. Hopefully there's still enough that worked its way down to the soil to prevent some weeds, but we'll have to kind of just take it as we go. So that's what I'm working with for the front yard. We'll see how it comes out, and if it doesn't work, if it doesn't get considerably better next year, I will put glyphosate down, burn it down, take it out, and reapply it, but we'll see how it goes.